Hey guys, welcome to Dawless Jamming. My name is JAde, and today I'm going to tell you why I think it's a good idea to have a hybrid setup. So first, let me tell you a little bit about my background. I started making music maybe about 10-12 years ago. I started playing keyboard and then guitar. Then I wanted to record that, so I got into GarageBand and into Logic. And then after like 5 years or so, I kind of hit a stomp and stopped making music. I just didn't want to turn on the DAW. I didn't want to stare at a blank screen waiting for inspiration. And I stopped making music for like 3 years. Then I got to a point where it was like, I need to make music or I'm gonna die of depression. This is terrible. You know, we're creators, we need to make music. So I started looking at ways of how to make music without a computer, and that's kind of where Dawless Jamming started. So I was completely Dawless, no computer at all, recording into a little Zoom recorder for like 2 years. And I always chased like that missing piece, like there was always a missing piece, you know, and I thought this would be like a hardware sequencer. So I tried a lot of hardware sequencers and there was still something missing, and that was the DAW. You know, somebody actually said it to me, you know, you're missing the DAW. And it's true, because once you have the tools to create and you no longer need your computer to create the sounds, the DAW is a great tool for arranging, for mastering. If you think about it, if you go 100% Dawless, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money on like external compressors, external effects, you know, like all these things that come easily in software and that are a lot more accessible than having a bunch of hardware pedals or a bunch of racks, you know, even just for sounds. Like I remember there was a point where like, I need a piano sound, I need an organ sound, let me buy a piano module, an organ module. And before you know it, you have all this gear and you're at the same spot where you were, which is you're not making music. VST sounds so good nowadays that there really is no need to have 5, 6, 7 synthesizers. I mean, I have like one main analog synthesizer, which is my OB6, and then I have the DX7, and I have the Montage, but honestly, I'm thinking about getting rid of the Montage. I mean, if something has to go, it's probably gonna be that, because I get a lot of those sounds from my VSTs, you know, like I use the Arturia collection a lot. What I'm saying is you don't need a $4,000 synthesizer when you can get those sounds just as easy on the computer. Obviously, analog is different, that's why I have my analog synth, but when it comes to digital sounds, you know, I don't mind using VSTs. The other thing with having a hybrid setup is that you're not limiting yourself. I know a lot of people that are like 100% Dawless, and it's like a religion pretty much, and it doesn't really have to be that way. Like, why limit yourself in that way? There's other people that are 100% DAW, but it's not because they want to, it's because they can't afford the hardware. Or maybe they're minimalist and they just want to make music with the least gear as possible, which I highly recommend too if you're just starting out. There's no need to have that much gear, you know, it's a luxury to have that much gear. But having a hybrid setup allows you to have the best of both worlds. You know, you get to use your analog synthesizers and your drum machines, and then when you're ready to record, you can lay it all out in your DAW and just record that way. The stressful thing about a DAW to me is having to create the song from beginning to end in the DAW. You know, think about just being there for 2-3 hours, just staring at your screen, editing. And the other thing is like, it's hard to know which hat you're wearing when you're just using a DAW. What I mean by that is like, you get mixed up in, am I a writer right now? Am I mixing? Am I arranging? You know, so I feel like when you're just in the DAW 100%, it's very hard to focus on one thing at a time. Like, oh, I'm just gonna create this melody right now and I'm gonna focus on this melody, because that rarely happens. You know, once you make a melody, you're gonna make a loop, and then you're like, oh, I need another loop, and then your train of thought gets lost, you're no longer composing, and now you're arranging, and that's what makes the DAW stressful. So once you have something that can get you away from the DAW, having an actual synthesizer, and then coming to the DAW once you're ready to record, that's the best setup that you can have. Obviously, if you've always been Dawless, 20-25 years, you know, this is all that you know, there is no need to go now and jump into the DAW. Do whatever works for you and don't get so caught up on the label of Dawless, DAW. At the end of the day, nobody's gonna listen to your music and be like, I wonder if this is Dawless, you know? One of the main things I like a hybrid setup is because I can multi-track. So before I used to just do one audio track into my Zoom recorder, and that was that, you know, with mistakes, with everything, maybe I could cut it here and there, but I didn't have that much control over my track to really master it the way that I wanted to. You know, with Dawless, you do a lot of jamming, not a lot of actual finishing tracks, and you know, that's what happens. So really try to get to where you need to get. I remember when I first went Dawless, I told my friend, like, you know, I'm going Dawless, I'm not using a computer, and his first question was, how are you gonna record? And my answer was, I don't even care right now. Like, I just want to get back to making music. That's at the point in my life that I was like, I don't even care about recording right now. I just want to like make the music that I want to make, and then later on I'll worry about recording. So if you're at that stage right now where you're just getting back into making music, and you know, you're learning your hardware and you're seeing the possibilities, stay Dawless for a minute. It's not bad, but don't be anti-DAW. That's all I'm saying. I'll catch y'all later.